and I'll go back to my screen share and we'll start. Okay, so thank you everybody for attending. I know some folks are gonna jump on a little later, but I wanna start on time. I'm respectful of your time, so we'll end on time. Okay, so it's called Stop Wasting Money on Marketing, Use Data-Driven Automated Marketing Lists. This is a company that I personally use, and so I wanted to share it with you. My name is Stuart Gethner. This is my presentation. I mentioned again earlier, we used to do this in person. Now I guess the world is changing. If you don't know me by now, I'm doing a bad job marketing. I'm also the author of an international bestseller, No Agent Needed. I'll always tell you that if you read the book, you'll know that my lovely bride is a military seasoned agent, and so that they're needed. So that keeps me safe at home. And if you stick around to the end, I'll tell you how I'll be able to give you a free autographed copy. Happy to help you with that. So you probably saw this flyer. This is the flyer that I sent out. The promotion: work smarter, not harder. Stop wasting money on marketing. You know, for me, I always talk about two ways of marketing. You can just blast some stuff out there and see what sticks, or you can get laser focused on what you would be your ideal seller, your ideal client. Both ways work. You know, look at the guys putting on the television commercials for automobiles on the 10 o'clock news. They're blasting it every night. And then laser marketing works as well. So there's no right or wrong. I guess the only wrong thing is not marketing, not telling people that you have services to offer and how you can help them. And that's why we're here this afternoon. So our instructor today is Burton Elicondo. He's a PropStream guy. I've worked with him. We've had some conversations the past couple of nights. This guy knows this software inside and out. I'm familiar with the software because I use it, but who better to teach you than the guy that has input on the updates and the upgrades. So I'm going to be turning my screen share over to him in just a moment. But it's free. The reason this webinar is free, and for those of you that know me, I'm not that cheesy sales guy. You'll hear me say this. I'm not going to offer you the Ginsu knives in the back of the room if you buy something today. Nothing to buy today, okay? Education. But I still have sponsors. So I want to thank my sponsors. And so, Mike, are you on board? I want to give you a 2-minute commercial. Mike from LM2 Investments. These are the guys that I use for my hard money. Mike, you got it? Can we hear you?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Then here's his contact information. Mike, tell us what you do.
30-second blip. Yeah, hard money lender. Been doing it since 2009, end of 09. Makes sense underwriting. We can fund trustee sales in 24 hours if you need to. I make the decision along with my other partner. We're a small firm. We manage $50 million. There's only 4 of us, so we move fast. So that's our big draw. We do things fast, and we'll tell you we can do something or not within a day. So that's really it. All the rest, we'll do construction, a little bit of construction, a little bit of commercial, a little bit of land. Pretty conservative with those items, but as far as fix and flips, that's most of what we do. 6-month notes, interest-only payments, no different than anybody else, but we do it fast, and we do what we say we'll do.
So thank you. So this is a true story. I just want to share this story, Mike. I hope you don't mind. I needed a fund so fast that I called Mike at home one day on his cell phone. He literally got out of the shower. Do you remember that, Mike?
Yeah.
And said, I can do this for you. So this guy owns the bank. So the people I'm bringing on board as my sponsors, they're just not beginners. This guy owns the bank. All our sponsors are top-notch people. So grab his information. I'll show it again at the end. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you being a sponsor. Also, I'm a big fan of the National Real Estate Insurance Group, NREG, if you will. All my properties are insured for them. One of the things I can tell you, when I first started doing this, and I started buying rental properties like houses, I went out and I used like my State Farm agent or my American Family agent because it's a house and that's what they insure. And what I learned was I was wrong. There's a difference between a non-owner occupied residence and an owner occupied. And the difference is called commercial insurance. And their rates are so much less expensive. And these guys, they offer the best coverage at the most competitive rates, lost rents, especially in times like this. Hey, Juliana, are you on the phone? Are you on the line? Hey,
yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about what you got to offer.
Okay, great. Thank you.
National Real Estate Insurance Group is an independent insurance agency that was created specifically for real estate investors. We started about 20 years ago, which makes us the longest standing insurance program in the country, specifically for investors.
You're fading.
Occupied, vacant, and
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead. You sound better now.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we can insure occupied, vacant, and renovation properties. So really any occupancy base, and we can place it on one monthly reporting form. So you can pay for coverage as you go, never overpaying. You will never see any long-term commitments or minimum earned premiums. We're based out of Kansas City, Missouri, and we have about 50 agents here on staff that do nothing but process those payments, or excuse me, those changes, adding, deleting locations when you sell them. So if you'd like to request a proposal, Stuart, do you have a link on there, or sorry?
I have your email address, but at the end I can put a link, and if you want to put it in the chat box, put your link in
Oh,
the
okay.
chat box. And you too, Mike.
Oh, okay, perfect. So if you'd like to request a proposal, even if you don't want to move forward, with coverage, we're still happy to provide, a comparison to the coverages that you currently have and see how you might be able to save or, get more comprehensive coverage, because ultimately, that's what you're wanting as an investor when you have a claim to get it paid, right? So, we're here to help.
So if I said to the group, have you heard this expression before? You're in good hands with?
Allstate.
Right, good, right? So why do you know all these companies? Because they spend zillions of dollars on marketing. If you've never heard of National Real Estate Insurance Group, that's because they're like me when I owned my pharmacies. We were independent. We had very competitive prices, but we didn't spend zillions of dollars on advertising. We kept our prices low. Same with NREG. They do a great job with insurance. Please reach out to Juliana. I use them exclusively. Again, these are the people that I use. So I think they're fantastic. They do a great job. They're the independent guys. So thank you, Juliana. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I wouldn't think of doing it without you guys. You guys are our sponsors. That's why we can do this at no charge. And then last but not least, I want to thank Robert W. Jones, Network Together. There's a lot of networking groups. Some of you may see me on Meetup. There's Meetup. There's other websites you can go to. And sometimes you get suspicious as to when you go to these groups, what kind of cheesy people might be in there. And I can honestly tell you, when I joined Network Together, probably one of the best moves I've ever made. Everybody in there, everyone is an entrepreneur, solopreneur. They're legit, honest people. So don't mean to steal your thunder, Robert, but Robert, are you there?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll just take it from where you left off. What we do is we believe that entrepreneurs have three main things that they all need. They need access to quality information, they need access to quality people, and they need boatloads of inspiration. And one of the reasons why I resonate with Stuart so much is he offers all three, in his own brand. Now, what's really crazy is Stuart and I had probably met about 2.5 years ago, and he ran a panel at our last iNetwork Expo, and I thought, boy, I just need more of Stuart. He's providing the people, the product, and getting to the places where, entrepreneurs need help, especially for education and through connections. Now, with COVID, we had an in-person networking organization, but what happened is we went backwards to go forwards again. And so now we've expanded from just membership, we expanded from just membership to a magazine, to our events, to a radio show. But most importantly, we have the iNetrepreneur Academy, where we are partnering with other principals in the community who are help driving education to entrepreneurs who are either starting out or they're emerging. It's great to have entrepreneurs who've been successful for 25 to 50 years, but for some of us, the dialogue that we have, our conversation is much different when we're in the emerging area of entrepreneurship. And that's what I love about Stuart, and that's why we will support him in our academy and through our membership and through our national associations ongoing and continuously. So again, my name is Robert Jones. I'm owner and founder of the iNetrepreneur Network. And if you would like to get more exposure in a multiple of ways besides just membership and networking, please contact me. I will put my information into the chat room.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert. All three of my sponsors, they're legit, guys. They're just as legit as I am. So if you're really looking to network, looking for insurance, looking for lending, these guys are legit and they will help you. And that's what it's about. We don't have the exclusivity. We're not going to corner the market on networking. I'm not going to corner the market on real estate. NREG's not going to corner the market on insurance. LM2 is not going to corner the market on lending. There's enough for everybody. We have a positive and prosperous mindset. So thank you to my sponsors. I appreciate you. Burton, I'm going to end my screen share. I'm going to turn it over to you, sir. And go ahead. Burton, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Hey, everybody. Again, my name is Burton Alicondo. I'm with a company called PropStream. What we do is we collect data nationwide. We've been actually doing that since 2006. I probably haven't heard about us. Just like Stuart said, we don't really put marketing out there. It's not our thing. This isn't a tool for the public. This is a tool for everybody that's here. This is a tool designed for anybody needing real estate data, whether you're a lender, an agent, an investor, a contractor maybe. I believe our tool is definitely going to help you out. So here, it looks like I've been, okay. It looks like our mission is to collect data nationwide, period. And that's from the county, tax assessor's office, mortgage, lenders, and even the MLS. So we do have access to the MLS nationwide. So a little bit about me. I joined the company in 2013. So I've been with them for 7 years. I started as a tech support agent, just understanding the back ends of this, and then kind of just fell into a rabbit hole of data. Like, I just love data now. Like, I love how we source it. I love where data comes from. It helps me understand what's happening with our market and what potentially could happen in the future. I love understanding trends. So I'm just that person. I'm a data junkie. Like, that's my thing. So I'm also a visual learner. And let me go ahead and share my screen. And I think I might need to get your permission here, Stuart. So
Not a problem. And just so that you all know, I want this to be an interactive webinar. So if you have questions, I want you to put them in the chat box and I'll make sure your questions get answered, okay? So if you need me to repeat something, if you don't understand something, please go ahead.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and I think I might need the host from you.
I heard you.
Were you able to do that? Okay, there we go.
All right.
right.
Back when you're done?
Yes, I will. Definitely. So this is just an outline of what we're going to be covering today. So if you were to ask me, Burton, what does PropStream really do for me? It does two things. It's a lead generation system, which there are 3 phases to that part. The first part is to build a list, and then you can export it. The second part is to take that list that you just built and then skip trace it or gather contact information, which we have internally in our system. It is an additional cost, but we can get you landlines, cell phones, and emails, and then you can export it. The third phase is let us just take care of everything for you. Build that list, get their contact information, and let's directly market to them as well. So we can create a landing page for you. We can send postcards to their mailing address. We can do ringless voicemails. We can even send emails to them as well. Now that's the first part of PropStream. The second part is, well, in theory, if we do that, a lead's going to eventually land in our lap. And our system's also designed to analyze properties. So you can search a specific property or click on a property that's in one of your marketing lists, look through the property details, like the liens that have been owed on the property, if it's in pre-foreclosure, if it's currently on or off market. If it's off market and was on market recently, we'll give you reasons. We'll show you the listing history as to why it failed. You'll also be able to see mortgage information, tax information. But most importantly, you'll be able to run comps using public records as well as MLS listings nationwide. And then you can print reports with pictures of these comps so you can take with your, take with you when you're talking to your buyers and sellers. You do have additional features like adding team members for those that are working with virtual assistants or business partners. And then our revolutionary tool called List Automator. This feature is unlike any other feature you've ever seen in your life. List Automator will take a marketing list that you've created and we will monitor that list every single day. We will pay attention to the filters that you've created and we will notify you by letting you know, hey, we just updated and 10, 20, 30, 100 properties that have been updated meet your property, meet your marketing criteria. At the same time, we're going to pay attention to the properties that are in your marketing list. So if any no longer meet your criteria, we're going to let you know, hey, there are 10, 20, 14 properties that no longer meet this criteria because they're on market now, they're just sold, there's no longer equity that meet your criteria. Whatever that criteria is, we're going to pay attention to that. Why is that important? Because for most of you, when you buy a list, and you guys are very familiar with this, when you buy a list, that list is static. The moment you buy 1,000 addresses from whatever source out there, it doesn't automatically update for you. And so literally the next day, 10 of those properties could call an agent and list their properties, yet you're still sending marketing or calling them. And then you find out the hard way after spending like that marketing material or marketing expense and so forth. So List Automator gets rid of all of that. Every single day you click on an automated list, we tell you what's added and removed, and what remains are the properties that you need to market to. So this is an overview of our system, or what we're going to be covering today. And let us go to PropStream. So PropStream, when you first log in, it looks just like this. You can go to our website, propstream.com. Please don't go now to sign up. Make sure you click on the link Stuart's going to provide you. You'll get a 7-day trial period, a discounted price. There's no yearly contracts. It's just a monthly subscription. And you get 10,000 leads every month for $97 a month. So when you log into PropStream, first thing that's going to happen is we're going to let you know all the new things that have occurred. The newest thing that occurred is our recent mobile app, which was just launched 2 days ago. And I'll show you guys a little bit about that in just a few minutes. List Automator, and then our weekly webinars that we do to help our users understand our product. Now, this is PropStream. Nationwide data. So I'm in Southern California, as you can see, but you can search anywhere in the United States. To the left is our backbone. This is our toolbar. So it kind of follows the outline. You search either a specific property or market. You can use our filter at the top to isolate whatever leads you're looking for. You'll then save your results, which get stored in the My Properties page. And so here is where your marketing lists are stored. Here is where your automated lists are also stored, telling you what needs to be added and removed. You have your contacts page, which is like your phone book. This is where you can essentially manually edit contact information. You can import an outside list into PropStream. You heard me. You can import an outside list into PropStream, just like I did here. So this is an area where you can edit the data that we give you, or this is an area where you can import outside data into PropStream. The reason why you would want to do that is now you can skip trace. So you can skip trace a list that you built from our database or a list that you brought in from a different provider. And our skip tracing is tiered, and you get the option to choose whether you want phone numbers, emails, or both. Contacts is also where your skip tracing results will be stored. So here at the lower left-hand side, you can see all the skip tracing results I have. Simply click on it, and your homeowners' names and their emails and addresses will be provided. And at this point, I can check this off and hit export. So based on the visual presentation, that's phase 2, right? Phase 1 was we built a list. That list was stored in the My Properties page, and we can export anything here by hitting the export button at the top. Second phase is if we want to skip trace it. If we skip trace it, our results will be in the contacts page. We can then click on that and export that. Or we can proceed to phase 3, which is marketing. So now that I've searched, I've saved, I've skip traced, and my results are waiting for me with their phone numbers and emails, I can now go to campaigns and directly market to them from the same platform. And this is big right now because of the fact that a lot of people aren't going out. So to be able to do a lot of this at the comfort of your home is just very imperative to our industry, I firmly believe right now. So in the campaign page, you can have as many campaigns as you want, have over 120. Some of them are tax liens, some of them are auctions, some of them are landlords that I've created, buyers, flippers. The idea is that we know that no two marketing lists are the same. So we want you to create a campaign for each individual marketing list. That way you don't get any confusion, right? So in this case, if it was a pre-foreclosure campaign, I would type pre-foreclosure campaign, maybe put today's date or the city or whatever reference I need. And then I would choose a list that I've stored in my properties, or I've imported, or I've skip traced, which is at the very bottom. And after I choose, I name my campaign and choose my list, I can hit save here at the top right, and my campaign's created. And it's blended in here with all the other campaigns. But each campaign that you create gets a free website. You can set up a website, and we have some help videos here that can help you understand how to do that. But after you set up your website, you then have the option to choose to send postcards to their mailing addresses, do ringless voicemails, or email marketing. Now, postcards are tiered, so your pricing will vary. Ringless voicemails are just a flat 10 cents per every successful delivery. And email marketing is currently free. Got to have the emails though, but we can do the email for you for free. So these are the three options you have. You don't have to use all of them. You don't even have to use the website if you don't want. You can just create a campaign and just go straight to postcards if you want. Now, in theory, if you play with this quite a bit, you will see what I have right over here, where I've created a campaign. This campaign tells me it was, created on December 10th. I have a website for it, and this website looks just like this. Actually, let me give you a better one that you can see. A website will look just like this. It has a background on it and says, hey, you can change the message, you can change the background, you can add pictures, but it's to capture their attention. And why do we want to do this? So I don't have to give strangers my phone number or my email, right? If you really want me to buy your house in cash because you need to get out of that pre-foreclosure, go to this website. This is what I do. And if you like that, then go ahead and give me your name, your email, your phone number, and go ahead and put a message if you need that, and then hit send. And then I will get an email notification letting me know that you're interested in an offer. Then I can give you a call. So that's the website part. That's like the top of your campaign. You don't have to create it, but it is optional. Now, as you see here, once you create your website, you then get to choose how many emails you want to send out, how many postcards you want to send out, and how many voicemails you want to send out, because we know the campaign isn't just a one-time thing, right? It's just something that you're going to do over time. You're going to keep hitting these addresses until you feel like, okay, we're done marketing to it. It's been 4 months. It's been 6 months. We're going to hit end campaign here at the top right. And these are all your inactive campaigns, right? So everything I just showed you right now is all of what I call the phase one, which is the first part of PropStream, lead generation. So let's talk about the building a list, because that's really the most important part. What type of list can we build? Yeah. And so again, I'm another visual learner. So we have nationwide data, and this is the data that we have here. This is what I call my motivation chart. I use this to kind of explain not only the data that we have, but how to effectively source data from our system. So my philosophy with finding leads, good ones, is that you have to understand a lead is not a list. Investors have done this for such a long time that I think most of them have forgot what we're really in here to do, and that is to solve problems. So at the end of the day, a lead is not a list you go find. A lead is a person facing a problem. And when you understand that, the sky is the limit with PropStream. But let's talk about these lists first, right? If I were to categorize them, I need to understand the homeowner situation. And I believe a homeowner goes into 3 categories. They're good, they're in an uh-oh situation, or they really need our help. So the good categories that we have would be like our cash buyer records, our high equity records, our free and clear records, and our flippers. Flippers is something you can only find in PropStream. It's a list of properties that have been owned for less than 2 years and they're back on market. So someone bought them, rehabbed them, and they're putting them right back on market. And that all happened within 2 years. Now, the reason why I call them good is if I'm looking for a discounted property, this is not the area I want to be in, right? If I call Stuart, who just bought a house in cash for $250,000, and I go, Stuart, hey, I'm an investor. I'm looking to buy your property for $180 in cash. That'll be the fastest hang up I ever get in my life, right? So this is not an area that we want, but our system allows you to stack data. So we can easily turn any of these individuals into a motivated seller. I can take a cash buyer and stack a failed listing on top of it. And that's an uh-oh situation. So yeah, you bought it in cash for $250,000, you rehabbed it. Now you're trying to list it for $350,000, but no one's buying it. I can now go in there, maybe get it for $3 flat, and then I'll take time with it. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't have the time, maybe I do, right? So these categories can be moved up higher in the motivation scheme by adding to it. And the uh-oh situations are the bankruptcies, the divorces that we have, the vacant listings. These are addresses not answering mail. Tired landlords is something that you can create, 10 years of ownership, non-owner occupied, or more years of ownership if you'd like. We have liens like tax liens and HOAs and utilities. Failed listings, because we have MLS data nationwide, and then tax delinquencies. Now, the reason I say that these are uh-oh is because the owner really has two options here. They can solve that issue, and then they go back to being a good owner, and they don't need you to call them anymore. Or that uh-oh, which is what I call the smoke in that rainforest, turns into a forest fire, and it goes into a pre-foreclosure. Our system has all of these categories, and you can go into PropStream and go into any one. So if you're looking for a buyer, I can go into PropStream. I can type in a market, let's say Chicago. Now I'm in Chicago and it tells me, Burton, there are 800,000 listings that we've pulled for you and they're categorized. Now, if you want to go through 800,000 records, go for it. Every property that you click on has its own property details page. And in this area, we show you property details that are coming from the county, building information, land location, such as zoning and school districts, subdivisions. You have legal descriptions. You have tax information from the tax assessor's office. You have the last transaction history as well. Now at the top is our dashboard. We're just telling you things that we believe is important, like whether it's on market, distress meaning is it in pre-foreclosure, foreclosure, short sell means it has negative equity, HOA, you know what that is. Type of owner, is it owner or non-owner occupied? Are they answering their mail? So not only is this dashboard kind of just feeding you the data, but if you're like me and you're a data junkie, the tabs below break it all down. So I have these property characteristics that we see up here, but it says it's on market. Is it really? Well, here's the MLS details. It's listed for $699, was listed in July, which is just recently, 3 days ago. It's active. And you can see that. Oh no, it's a price adjustment. So it's not listed. There was an update. So this property has been active for 332 days. It was listed for $775. And about 329 days later, they had to drop the price, probably due to COVID-19. But because we collect MLS data aggressively, this to me is a motivated seller. They want to sell, it's not happening. So they're trying to lower that price to get it go, right? And so that to me is why this data is important, because we piece it together. These two pages are like three different websites. Mm-hmm. County information, tax information, that's a different website. And then sometimes we'll have agent information. So that's HOA information. This one's not. MLS, that's agent information. So side by side, I'm literally on two websites, three websites, county tax and the MLS in the local area. I'm looking at it right now. The third tab is comparables. I can now run comps on any of these properties I just pulled results from, okay? Now I'll go over that in just a second, but I wanted to show you kind of the details that we have. And those details are in 153 million records we have nationwide. So any of these properties I can click on and they all have the same layout. Now the situations will change, right? Some of them will be on the market. Some of them will be in pre-foreclosure and so forth. So because the data is changing, and pardon my lag here, and there's 800,000 records, when you search a market, I don't encourage you, and I mean, if you want, go for it. You can go through these results one at a time, or you can isolate our 14 categories. 8 of them are here on the map. So if you want to just look at MLS listings, click on this 12,000, and those MLS results will be isolated here on the right-hand side. If you need pre-foreclosures, you click on pre-foreclosures, and those pre-foreclosures will isolate here on the right-hand side. But as you can see, these results here at the top are very, very, very large. Even for an individual to go through like 5,300 pre-foreclosures is quite a bit. 12,000 MLS is quite a bit. Even 634 auctions is quite a bit. So filtering is your best friend. Filtering allows you to do one of two things. Once you search a market and you get your collective results, you can go into the filter and you can choose any of our 14 options from the get-go, and it will isolate just that category. So if you want vacant properties, click on that, and we're now just looking at the 64,000 properties that didn't answer their mail last month. Or we can look at the liens, and now we're looking at the 10,000 people that have an involuntary lien, like a tax lien, an HOA lien. They're not paying child support. So this can happen in any market, right? Whether I'm in Chicago, whether I'm in Tampa, Florida, maybe I'm in Dallas, Texas. Again, this is the power of us collecting data for 15 years. It's nationwide. You can practically find leads and buyers in any market across the United States. Okay, so let's go to Miami.
Let's go to Phoenix.
And then back to the filter. Oh, you want to do Phoenix? Yeah, let's do Phoenix. Let's do Phoenix. There you go. Phoenix, Arizona. Boom. Just shy of a 500,000 records. And then again, we want to go into the filter and remember the graph, right? Like where, again, I don't know the type of investor you are to know what you believe is a lead or not. So if I'm an investor that wants only pre-foreclosure, then I can go into our filter and say, I just want pre-foreclosures. And now I'm only looking at the pre-foreclosures in Arizona. Now it's still a lot, 293. So here on the left-hand side, I have additional filters. So maybe I want an owner-occupied one or a non-owner occupied one, or both. Now, do you want one that's answering mail? Because that's important. If you're going to send postcards, I sure would like the ones that are answering mail. Maybe you're looking for the ones that are hiding from their creditors. So you're looking for the ones that are not answering their mail. And here are those 19, right? Or maybe you don't
You
care.
gotta set up your artwork. So
The
you
next
go ahead
one.
is the alert.
What do you want me to
It wants you to go ahead.
Let me mute that. I'm sorry
Thank
here. You're welcome. The next area after choosing occupancy and whether they're answering their mail or not is the characteristics. That's evident, right? A lot of people don't know, but we have more than residential. So you can look for residential, you can look for vacant, commercial. So let's choose residential for today's example. And then once you choose residential, you get to choose the type of residential property. Do you want just single family, condo, multifamily, multifamily 5+, or any of the potential subcategories that a county could have on a property? So if you want triplexes in pre-foreclosure, click on that and there's that one triplex in pre-foreclosure. Or do you want duplexes and you'll see the duplexes? Or you want single family and we'll show you all the single families. But you do have other options like bedrooms, bathrooms, building size, lot size, year built, home features, unit number ranges. You can choose whether the property is in an HOA or not. Some investors like and some investors don't like HOA, so we'll let you choose that. Once you're done with property characteristics, the next category is MLS. So guys, what we're doing now is without calling an agent, we can take these 206 results that I have so far and go into the MLS category, that's 5,000 that are listed in this market, and see, which ones are off market. So on market, no. So I don't need to call an agent. It's already done the work for me. These are the ones without a contract, right? Now, remember, my philosophy is that you're not here to build a list. You're here to build a problem. And that's why we give you all these other features, right? So let's kind of just throw out problems here. Well, why would the property be off market? Well, maybe it's off market because it recently failed on the market, right? So 2 pain points: pre-foreclosure, failed listing, 17 properties. They thought they could sell the property and get out of their situation. They could not. Here are those 17 properties. I can now click on them and then the details show. So this property, Raphael owns, Ophelia is a second owner. Here are the pre-foreclosure details. It's a notice of trustee. It's also a bankruptcy. So we see that the person's opened a bankruptcy and it's an open case. Here's the MLS details. It failed. And now I can run comps on that property. And I can do this for all 17 of these properties, right? So what I'm showing you guys is that you got to get creative. It's not a black and white thing anymore. These filters are designed so you can sit here and be like, okay, what would an owner want to sell a property, right? And you can even look for on-market properties. How many of these pre-foreclosures are on market? And how many of them are on market, but they've been on market for more than 120 days? And then it's going to show you, well, there's 3 properties that have been sitting on the market for 4 months and they're in pre-foreclosure, right? So it's a matter of just being creative. Remember, it's not a list you're building, guys. You're looking for problems. So let's keep it simple. Pre-foreclosures, off market, but I wanted to let you know the creativity is there. Finally, you have your pre-foreclosure filters. So this is an area where if you were looking for pre-foreclosures, you can refine that. So I'm looking for a pre-foreclosure, but one with an auction. And so here are the 136. You can control the recording date, maybe looking for ones in the last 30 days, last 60 days, or 6 months ago because things have been delayed because of COVID. You can specify when these auctions will be held. You can even look for pre-foreclosures that were once in, or properties that were once in pre-foreclosure, opening bid and default amount. So this is an area where if you were looking for pre-foreclosures, you're refining that, right? So I'm looking for pre-foreclosures with an auction, and here are my 136. But if my category was different, if I was looking for high equity properties, This would be just like the MLS, an area where I can now stack, right? Because remember, high equity is in the low motivated area. If you have a lot of equity in your property, you're not just going to sell it at a discounted price unless something is happening, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm looking for high equity. There's 178,000 of them. But how many of these high equity properties have an auction assigned to it? And then our system says, well, there's 47 of them. So that's the cool thing with our filters is that depending on the category you choose up here, we go back to pre-foreclosure, then this category is just refining that search. If I choose any other search, then this is an area where I can stack a pre-foreclosure. Okay, so let's go back to pre-foreclosures with an auction. The next category is ownership info. So how many years of ownership are you looking for? Maybe you're looking for that sweet spot of 7 years of ownership or more. Owner type, I want to talk to people and not corporate offices. People are easier to deal with, so let's just look for individuals. Last sell date is controllable. Last sell price is controllable. Even the owner's location is controllable. So if I was looking for non-owner occupied pre-foreclosures that are individuals, which one of you guys live in a different state? Because coronavirus right now is not going to have you fly out to your property, right? And so now you have to deal with everything remotely. So these are the two properties that are really facing an issue. You're in an auction and you don't even live in the same state as the property that's going up for auction. Let me call you and see if we can just work a deal out. We go from there. So to control the location is important. You can even find properties that have been transferred between family members. That might be an indicator of something happening on the back end. And we can even show you properties where we don't even know how long or when they last sold. These are what we call the zombie properties or unknown sell dates. And we've been collecting records for a long time that we have records that have been bought back in 1920, but they've been in our system. All we know is that they're in pre-foreclosure now. So you can include that, or you can check it off and not include that. And then the last three filters after ownership info is lien, bankruptcy, and divorce status. So here, if I'm looking for a pre-foreclosure, I can stack to it. I can say, I want a pre-foreclosure. And how do we get out of a pre-foreclosure? We have to pay for it, right? Well, what about a pre-foreclosure that's facing an active bankruptcy right now? That's a pain point. You can't get out of your pre-foreclosure if you don't have any income coming in because your bankruptcy is telling me that. So now we're able to isolate those properties that are in pre-foreclosure and bankruptcy. Right? So get creative or pre-foreclosure with an active lien. And what type of lien? Well, here are the lien options you can choose from. Is it a tax lien, a child support lien, a utility one? This is also an area where you can suppress, just like you could say, I don't want anything on market. This is an area where you can say, I don't want any of those bankruptcies. I've dealt with them before in the past. They were a headache. Let's go ahead and suppress anything with a bankruptcy. So now these are just pre-foreclosures with no bankruptcy. Or no liens, we can suppress that too. We don't have to worry about paying for a lien. We just pay for the mortgage and that's it. So that's how our system works. You can stack and suppress for those that are adding these categories. Recording date, bankruptcy, and divorce filing date are controllable lien amounts, and the tax year as well. And then the last two are valuation and equity. How much the property is worth, estimated rental income growth over 2 years if you want, estimated equity by dollar amount or percentage, like 50% or more, loan to value ratio for those doing subject twos or creative seller finance options, tax assessed total value for those looking for land properties. And then the last is mortgage information. So we do collect mortgage records up to 4 loan positions. Wow. So I can go through the 25 pre-foreclosures and see which of those guys have 2 mortgages, a first and a second, because that's a problem too. And here are those 3 people. So we have over 150 filters for you to choose from. That way, once you start building your list like I have, you're now left with the 25 properties. So 293 down to 25 that are facing an auction. And now I can check them off and add it to a marketing list, a list that I've already created, or create a new one, right? Stewart's lists, hit save. It goes into my properties. And from there, I can export it, or I can go and skip trace it, or I can mark it to it. Now, what happens if someone calls me back, right? So I set my marketing and, hey, Burton, I got your postcard. I'm interested in selling. Okay, I can search that address. I can type in a specific address instead of a market. And now I have local knowledge. Instead of, hey, here's a list to build. No, here's what's happening around that property. Here are the listings around the property. Here are the neighbors around the property. Here are the statistics for that zip code. Here's a description of that property. And here's the nearby listings, the neighbors, the MLS, the pre-foreclosures, the foreclosures. Heck, you can even zoom in on the streets. The streets will sometimes turn blue. It doesn't happen everywhere, but when they turn blue, you can click on it and we're now at street level. You can use the arrows to go to and from. This is a childhood home I grew up in. You can also use this map option here, which allows you to not use the arrows. You can just drag yourself on the map, like go around the corner and see my elementary school, right? Really cool way of kind of virtually getting an understanding. Again, all local knowledge, it inevitably leads into the details. I go into the details. Now I know Angel and Deborah are the owner, their mailing address, what's happening, tax information, mortgage information, documents. We have billions of documents in our system. So if I wanted to, for $5, I can purchase that deed right there from 2015 when my brother sold it to this person here. So here you'll be able to see that recording. So you'll be able to see my brother, his wife, and when they sold this property to that buyer. So documents are readily available in our system. If you see the PDF file, grab it. It's $5 extra. We have more documents and reports like the assessor's map and any other documents associated to this property. But it all ends with running comps. Because at the end of the day, when you have a lead, you got to make an offer, right? And whatever your goal is, 50%, 70%, 80%, what is 100%? What could the property sell for? You won't know unless you run comps, and that's what this area is for. Every property has that. The comparables and nearby listings, in case you wanted to see the neighbors, or maybe you're at that spot where you need a buyer now because you got the contract, or maybe you finally close a deal and you're just looking for other pre-foreclosures in the area. This is an area for, again, local knowledge. But this is the most important part of it all, because here, you, the user, get to choose whether you want public records. So if you want to run comps using county records, here it is. And this is everything, any real estate transaction. So this shows you cash transactions. Be careful, because these cash transactions are discounted transactions, so they can lower your value if you're not paying attention to it. But we want to show you everything. Now, if I'm running comps using public records, I would use finance records. Properties have been bought by the bank, because these are the ones that are at high value. And the photos show that these are properties where if I'm a bank, yeah, I'm going to put a loan on this because it's in great condition. And if you don't pay, I'm going to foreclose on you and take back a great condition property. So when running comps using public records, I usually encourage people to use finance. But if you're curious to see, hey, I need a buyer, you can look at the buyers. Okay. You have other filters as well. Bedrooms, bathrooms here built to, again, find similar properties that are close to the subject property. So 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, boom, it narrows it down. I have no results, so I need to probably go into a 2-mile radius or extend my sell date range. And then here they are. Now, the trick with this property is, obviously I know it. It's not really a 4-bedroom. It's actually a 3-bedroom. We were able to turn an office into a 4-bedroom by putting a really small closet in there. A little trick, but here are the actual comps. There are the 3 bedrooms and 2 baths that are near the neighborhood. And then we have MLS, right? So, hey, let's not even use public records. Let's just do what the agents are doing. Let's look at the sold listings. And here are the MLS sold listings. So what has sold within a 1-mile radius that has a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom? I get to see when they sold and the amount. But guess what's cool about this area? I can also look at pending listings. So things that are currently pending right now, right? So I can see, oh, this one sold or is pending at 629. Heck, what about active, right? Because the market is weird right now. All right, let's see what's active. Is it going up or going down? We get to see what's happening in this current market. But in terms of running comps, pending and sold are really the best ones. And then property class, right? We need to run comps. We got to get rid of these condominiums. So we need a residential single family property. And here are my MLS comps. Again, go through your results, look for any anomalies, ask questions, look at the photos. And those are going to definitely help you determine if these are good comps. Or for those advanced users, you can use both public and MLS. It's like kind of just double checking your work, right? Let's use MLS and public records. And here they are. Again, you can check them all off. You can uncheck them. You can choose the ones you want, don't want. But what you want to do after running comps is you want to save them. So we lock them in. That way, if you ever leave the property and come back, the comps are all locked in for you. Your filters and all that stuff is still there waiting for you. But what you really want to do after saving comps is go to actions and hit view comps report. And what that does is it generates a PDF report for you with all of these properties and their photos that you can go out and take with you and negotiate with your sellers and buyers. And look how beautiful this report is. So there's a subject property, your search criteria for running comps, your low, your high, and your average based on your data. This is public records, which is green. Then we look at the MLS record and say, based on those, the low, the high, and the average. And then we show the map of where the property is in the comps. And then we show the comps that you've used and their characteristics. And then the summary of each comp with their photos down below. And if the owner still is playing hardball with you, let's show them the photos to tell them why we can't give them full price. So this is our comps report for any property that you're running comps on, okay? And that's what leads to the second part. And that's, to me, the last part of it all with PropStream is that, again, it's a two-part system. You build your lists, you analyze your properties, and then some of our additional features are, again, additional features, team members. If you wanted to add a team member, you don't have to buy another account for an additional cost. Your team member can log in simultaneously with you. And in our add-on services, we have List Automator. So what List Automator does is it enhances your My Properties. It gives you these 10 boxes at the top. So like that Stewart list that we created earlier, those 25 pre-foreclosures, it's saying, Burton, did you know 6 of them were free and clear? No, I didn't know that. So these 10 boxes are isolating things that you may have overlooked when you built the list. Okay, well, those 6 free and clear, I can edit that now. So of those 6 free and clear, which ones of those have been owned for 10 years? So not only these boxes isolate these opportunities that I may have overlooked, but now it also allows me to edit and says, hey, Burton, 4 of them. So these 4, 10 years of ownership, and they're within your pre-foreclosure lists, all right? And then the automate feature. Any list that you build with our data, you can automate it. So we can automatically add and remove properties that no longer meet your criteria. And so when you automate it, it goes into our automated area. And when I click on my Baltimore Tire landlord list, it says, hey, today there's 660. They all meet this criteria right now, but 7 of them don't meet that criteria today. And so what I need to do before I go and call 660 people or send postcards is I need to check these 7 people off and delete them. And those are 7 postcards I just saved on marketing. And that's the List Automator, because in order for me to have noticed that these 7 people were no longer meeting my criteria, I had to go run my search again and then save that list again and then spot the difference and then manually say, oh, okay, it's these 7 addresses that are on this list but not on this list. List Automator does that for you. And then the final thing, I'm about 5 minutes wrapped up here. I want to show you guys this amazing tool here. You guys can still see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So it comes with your subscription, but this is our revolutionary PropStream app. So if you do subscribe, make sure you go to the App Store or Google Store and get this app as well. So this is my iPhone that we're seeing, just so you can see, same screen, no fancy or magic play here. This is our PropStream app. And everything I just showed you is now at the comfort of your palm. So as you sign into your PropStream account, you will have the luxury to search an address. So here you can search an address, an APN, or you can go into geolocate and it shows you where you're at and you can see the map. And the cool thing with this app is as you're clicking and looking at, in this case, geolocate, as I'm looking around the map, you see those parcels. If you're, let's say, driving in front of one, you can just click on a parcel and there's the details of that property. And now I can click on details and all of the details that I just showed you in our desktop are here on our mobile app. And I can even run comps on that property using public and MLS records at the comfort of my phone. I can look at the mortgage information and if there's any liens. I can skip trace that property on spot if I wanted to get their phone number. It can even send a postcard for those that are driving for dollars. So maybe there's an indicator of like tall lawn or grass or something, and you just want to send a postcard. You can purchase documents, and you can even get driving directions, and you can even share this to a team member or like a buyer that you know, or maybe a partner that didn't come across it. So that is our search feature. Address, APN, or geolocate. Your favorites at the bottom here shows you all the properties that you've saved while you're driving about. Shows you properties that have been skip traced with those phone icons. And then this is our revolutionary drive feature. No app has this out there because no company has our data. So this feature will do two things. It will let you just drive, which is the bottom option, and you just drive and it records your drive. Or the other option is set filters in drive. See, the thing with driving for dollars is people were just looking for abandoned properties and then taking a picture of those abandoned properties, right? The problem is they were driving by properties that were in divorce and bankruptcy. And the reason why they were driving by them is because they looked perfect. So with this drive and set filter, I can, just like I am with PropStream on the desktop, I can say, look, I want a owner occupied property that's occupied. It has a lien on it. Let's choose that. And it's off market. And look within a 5-mile radius, which is at the very top right. And then I'm going to hit apply. And now it's going to look in that 5-mile radius and show me all the properties, as you can see here, that have that radius. So this is amazing. And now I can click on number 2. And there's number 2. And I can go drive to it. So I didn't know, but there's a property right down my neighborhood with a tax lien. And now I can take a picture and talk to the owner if they're there, or all that good stuff. So this is PropStream mobile app. It just came out 2 days ago. 2 years in the making. We had to cram all this data in here for you, but I hope you guys enjoy it. And that is what PropStream is about, and that's what we've been doing for the last 15 years. And I want to thank you for your time. My name is Burton. If you guys have any questions, now would definitely be the opportunity to address them.
Question for you, Steve Thomas.
Let me get this back to you, Stuart. Hold on one second.
Sure.
I'm going to get you
Sure.
the host again.
You can hear me or not, Ken?
Yeah.
There you go, sir.
Okay, gotcha. Share screen. I did have one question that came up in the chat box, Burton. Is there anything to do with probate?
We don't have probates right now. Right now, we're still working on the litigation part of getting a provider. We found one, just making sure the pricing is right for everybody. But right now, we currently don't have probate. But with our list automator feature, you can import a probate list and get our data. Like you can get our MLS data. And that was the reason why we created List Automator, is because we know we don't have it all. Like we don't have all the records out there. We know that. Nobody's perfect. But if you somehow got a probate list, and I'm very familiar with it, they usually just give you the address, the trustee's name, sometimes the family members' names, if you're lucky. But what you can do with our List Automator is you can take that probate list and import it into our system, and then we'll show you all of the data we have on those addresses. So we'll show you their equity, we'll show you their mortgage, we'll show you whether they're on or off market, or any other things that you didn't know, like a tax lien, if it's vacant, and so forth. So no probate data, but you can still search the address or import the list, and we'll give you the data that we do have on those properties. And hopefully that will help you make a better informed decision.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? I want to make sure. Go ahead.
I have a question, Stuart. So I've been listening. I heard 10 cents on skip trace, free for emails. I didn't hear a price per postcard. So is it, if we want to know what the subscription costs, is that something we contact you individually for, or how do we find that out?
No, the subscription is $97 a month if you click on Stuart's link. So make sure you click on Stuart's link. It'll give you a 7-day trial period. And then, you know, if you don't want it, just email us. We'll cancel it. Oh, there it is. If you do decide to subscribe, it's only, again, a monthly subscription of $97 a month, and you'll get 10,000 leads every month.
And
now,
for that, so I'm just going to ask, so for that $97 a month, you get the 10,000 leads, but what else do you get?
Okay, so the $97 a month gives you what I was showing you the most of the time, which is searching our data, running comps. It also includes the mobile application and printing reports. The additional features are skip tracing, and the pricing is tiered, so I don't have like a set price for you. It depends on how many you're ordering.
Right.
Postcards are also tiered. The ringless voicemails are 10 cents flat. So if the voicemail is delivered successfully, so your message has to go through. If it does, we then bill you 10 cents. If it goes through halfway or their voicemail is not set up, we won't charge you at all. And then the documents, those are $5 a piece or lower.
Right.
And then the list automator and team member are also additional tools. Those do not come with your subscription. Those are add-on. Those are not geared for everybody. So we didn't want to put it on everybody and increase the subscription cost.
No, that's fine. But so I'm going to go hypothetical. I get 10,000 and I want to send out all 10,000. And I'm going to skip trace them.
You want to do 10,000 skip traces, then 10,000. Okay. So if you did 10,000 skip traces, let me get you the price here. Hold on one second. Where is this on my screen? Hold on. I have the pricing chart right here. So hold on one second.
No problem. Hey, Burton, I'll ask you this question in the meantime. Can we add our own postcards, or do we
Yeah,
have?
you may. No, you can upload. You can definitely upload your own postcards in our site. Yeah, with our postcards, you can use our templates. You can upload your own postcards, or you can customize one from like ground up. You can literally make one. We have an editor in there that you can create. So hold on one second here, LA.
I'll get to Melanie's question next.
Yeah, go ahead. And while I'm still trying to find this price thing sheet here.
So, you know, Burger King has McDonald's, Coke has Pepsi. How does PropStream compare to Property Radar?
I think it's going to be the user interface, evidently. That's a given. The data locations. So like we're competitors of each other, but here's the reality. There's only like 4 to 7 nationwide data aggregators. These are the huge companies that pull data from the county, tax assessors, and MLS. And you're familiar with these companies, right? CoreLogic, First American Title Company.
Sure.
This is where all of us are getting the data from. So when it comes to difference, it's really about the account that each company has, right? It's kind of like whoever the bigger buyer is, they're gonna get the better discount, right? And so again, I can't say what's the difference on the back end. I know like the obvious, the user interface is different. The data areas are different because we might have data in certain parts of the country that they don't have, and vice versa. So because we knew that, again, we don't like to, I really don't like answering this question, because if you want my honest answer, use them all, right? And then I know that's easy for me to say, but let's be real. Like if you're trying to get all the data possible in your market, then subscribe to them all. And even if 1 or 2 of them have the same records, well, great, you have the same property, right? That's what we do as a company. We buy repetitive and redundant data from all these providers. So even if it's, hey, we buy a pre-foreclosure list from all 5 of them and that address is in all 5 of these providers, great, we'll still take it, because we want to triple, quadruple, and check to make sure. But we know that some markets, it's not cost effective for us to get that. And as competitors, it's almost like Verizon and AT&T. When you see their coverage map, like it's like, okay, they cover all of the United States, but when you really take a magnifying glass to it, you'll notice that AT&T has certain areas that are really great in, and Verizon does it, and vice versa. So what we decided as a company is, because we were never going to be able to beat that, or never going to get around that, we decided to create List Automator. And we're the only company that did that, which is, hey, we know we don't have all the data, so why don't you export or import that list over to our list, and we'll put it together, right? So if you found something from, let's say, Property Radar that we don't have, I can bet you there is something in terms of like lien information, mortgage information. Maybe they don't have MLS data in that area. So when you put them together, now you have a better picture. And that's my answer to you. They're really, I can't tell you which is better than the other. I can only tell you the tools that we have. And to me, that's again why we created List Automator. Let's just bring it together, because we hated that whole, you got to get us versus them. because that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's really the business model is that's how these companies make money, including us, is, well, we're going to sell you our data and we're going to market that our product is better than all these other products. We don't market. Our whole goal, our philosophy is let's just give our users as much data as possible. So that's my answer to that.
So,
and then in terms, Dina, to your answer, so I was able to get the pricing for you. So if you did 10,000 records and you did phone numbers and emails, that would be 16 cents for each phone number that we capture. And I'm sorry, for each result that we capture. So if you, for example, did 10,000 addresses and only 9,000 of them came back with results, then it would be 9,000 times the 16 cents that you would get, okay? So we only charge you for the results that come back in. For postcards, that one is as low as 40 cents per each card for the standard size, and that includes postage, or 64 cents for 5,000 or more, and that's the oversized card. So 40 cents for standard includes postage for 5,000 or more, or 64 cents with postage, and that includes, or that's for 5,000 or more.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Want to be respectful to everybody's time. I want to make an offer to everybody to get more than just a 7-day free trial like I promised. And would you call, a question for Mark, would you call PropStream a CRM, or is it kind of different than a CRM?
No, it's not necessarily our CRM. I mean, I guess there's some misconceptions, but from my understanding of what a CRM does, it's customer relations management, right? So once you send your marketing out, how are you managing that relationship with that customer? We don't do that, right? So once you send out marketing, if they call that number that you put on there, our system doesn't automatically tie things, because our voicemail, ringless voicemail, we don't give you a phone number to use. So there's no way for us to monitor who's calling that number. The only thing that really do monitor is that landing page, in the sense that if someone goes on there and fills out the application, you'll get an email. That's really it.
Thank you. All right, again, Ronald, thanks for joining. Oki, you came on board a little late. Thanks for joining. Okay, so as we wind up, here's the link for what PropStream was giving as a 7-day free trial. I want to make it sweeter, and I want to help you be successful. So here's my pitch as we wind this up, okay? I wrote this book, No Agent Needed. Notice it's a national bestseller. I got my friend Jay Facette to buy a few copies, so now it's an international bestseller because he lives up in Canada. If you go on Amazon, it's about 25 bucks. If you want to try the 7-day free trial, I'm going to give you an autographed copy of the book to make it better for you, right? I'm also going to include my marketing checklist. I put together a marketing checklist, how to create your ideal client, your ideal seller, your ideal buyer. I sell that on the website for about 50 bucks. You want to try the 7-day free trial, I'm going to throw in the book and the checklist. And how about some hand holding? Some of you might need some hand holding, right? So I'm going to offer my services. I got clients on the line today. I bill 500 bucks. So that's what I'm going to donate that. I'll donate the book. I'll donate my marketing list, my checklist. I'll donate to hold your hand, work with you shoulder to shoulder. If you just want to try the 7-day free trial, we're going to need to set up some time over the next week. And I will personally help you, you and me, work on your list, work on your marketing. If we need to include Burton, we'll drag his butt in, ask him how to do something. He's been awesome. Hasn't he been awesome? Don't you guys think he's done a great job? Unbelievable. I'm really impressed. I want to see you be successful. If this works for you, let me know that you've put in the 7-day free trial. We'll schedule some time. And Burton, I can't thank you enough for your time. Burton, you did a great job. I'm still amazed at all the information that you can provide. Do we have any more questions before we wind this up? Any more questions? Please put them in the chat box, or if you're unmuted, please feel free to speak up.
No more questions, but thank you, everybody. I got to run.
You got it, brother. All right,
talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. So everyone, thank you for attending. This is going to be one of many. Burton, sir, thank you for your great job. You did a tremendous job. I'm still very impressed with what you have to offer. And to my dear sponsors, we appreciate you as well. And everybody, we'll say bye for now. All right,
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.